Hello everyone and welcome to another Bionicle Wars commentary. This time we're going to look at Bionicle the Possession, which is basically the introduction of the symbiote effect. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I achieved this symbiote effect. Now, right here as it latches onto Motoro, you're going to see a few little things. You'll notice these three tentacles per se. And with these three tentacles, what I do is that I take small pieces of clay, about ½ inch, and I go placing them on top of each of these tentacles for each frame. So for each frame I'm taking 3 little pieces and adding them each time. Then you'll notice as we progress, those tentacles get longer and longer as I add more and more pieces of clay. Here the tentacles divide and become multiple tentacles. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tentacles. Here we have another 3. Here another 5. So I'm putting about 16 to 17 pieces of clay all at once, every frame, to achieve the effect. And here earlier on, it was still a little crude. Later on I started to practice the effect more and more and make it more fluid and find ways of making it seem more real. And this whole fight that's about to happen is actually exactly the exact same choreography from Matrix Reloaded, when Neo goes against Agent Smith and Agent Smith stabs him with his hand and tries to take over. That's basically all the choreography you see here. And what I would do back then is, for the Macabre, I drew everything I saw. This time around, I took pictures with my phone of all the choreography, and then I would cycle through the pictures and I would see exactly what Neo was doing to all these Agent Smiths. And of course I don't have hundreds of Agent Smiths or hundreds of Bionicle, so I would basically recycle the same Bionicles as he would knock them out, and then they'd just get back up and he'd knock them right back out. And then he's also, what I also wanted to do is have him use his claws a lot, kind of like Wolverine in a sense, and basically to show how you can fight without a sword, and to make him more beastly in that sense, and more aggressive and more evil at the same time. So here we have the arrival of the other Inika, basically trying to stop Motoro's massacre of good guys. And here I actually am just doing the same effect as before, just adding little pieces of clay and then taking them all out frame by frame. And this choreography is still from Matrix Reloaded. It's just earlier on when Neo fights against about 4 agents, not Agent Smiths. Now here I'm going to pause it a little bit and rewind just a tiny bit. And this, basically the way I achieve this effect, it is the same thing as before. We start with these 2 tiny little tentacles, then they grow into several tentacles, so now we have about 12 tentacles, and then those 12 tentacles build upon each other, and I'm adding about 6 pieces of clay each time, until finally, as this structure grows, I add more clay over here at the base so that it doesn't start to bend and fall. And eventually, when I meet the full structure, which you'll see is right there, a few frames before that, I just take away the clay from his arm and then I put in his arm. Then I go ahead and take all those little pieces of clay and put it on top of the original arm, and now all I have to do is just take away each little piece every frame. And that's basically how you achieve the effect of growing arms, or growing anything for that matter. And this choreography I invented. This is all my choreography. Basically just him fighting all of them. And then at this point I wanted to have something similar to Darth Maul with dual lightsabers. Here I'm doing the exact same thing as before. Once Once I achieve the full solid structure of the swords, then I replace these structures with the actual swords, and then I put a bunch of little pieces of clay on top of the swords, and then I remove the little pieces little by little, and that's how you achieve that effect. This is once again all my choreography, though of course I looked at a lot of Star Wars choreography and other lightsaber battles and sword battles for that matter. All the sound effects you're hearing are from THX. They're basically one of the THX intros for sound. They have a lot of really good sounds that I still use to this day. So basically, right around here, I was already thinking about adding, you know, an extra final battle between the Motoro and the Nuparu that's inside Motoro. At this point, I was thinking that Nuparu kind of had latched on to the symbiote in a sense, and that's why he was going to be able to come out. But what it ended up being is this isn't actually Nuparu. This is, say, a clone of Nuparu that kind of latched itself onto the symbiote and was inside Motoro. And then at this point, Motoro realizes, after killing almost all the Toa, that he's evil and he shouldn't be doing this. So he realizes this and he gets rid of the symbiote. And the symbiote is kind of representing the last body it latched onto, in this case Nuparu. So here, this isn't actually Nuparu. This is just the image that the symbiote is using to represent itself. And then that is what Motoro ultimately stabs and gets rid of. But later on we find out in the Story of Fatality that he can never truly get rid of the symbiote. It's always inside him, dormant. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed the commentary. Stay tuned for the next one, which will be on the Duel of Fates. Thanks for watching.